A very good day to you, my fellow Nigerians from all over the world. You are welcome to another episode of your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Without doubt, there is so much confusion in Nigeria right now. After recording some remarkable economic feats under Jonathan, Nigeria has been dragged backwards almost 3 decades backwards since the APC took over. The worst is that several experts have analyzed the current situation of Nigeria and they have concluded that things will continue to get worse until 2027. And if you have a good knowledge of the current happenings in Nigeria, the thought that things could get worse than these would traumatize you if you aren't already traumatized. And while the government of the day may want to label those who say things will get worse as pessimists, the realities on ground says things will actually get worse. The government took petrol price from 617 naira per litre to 897 naira per litre, and Nigerians began crying. While Nigerians were weeping, experts said, calm down, it is not yet time to cry, that the prices would get worse. They said petrol would actually rise above 1,000 naira, and in just few hours, petrol hit 1,100 naira in major cities. Right now, it is selling for 1,200 naira and above in some cities. And just hours ago, politicians and government dropped another update that shows that the Dangote refinery is totally compromised. The whole game that the government, politicians, and the elite class are playing to impoverish Nigerians with high petrol price while they enrich themselves was exposed in this update, and petrol may hit 2,000 naira per litre this year. And just as Nigerians were crying over this update, another shameful and scary update dropped from northern Nigeria. This one shows that Nigeria is totally finished. Before I show you details of these updates and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video.
The people, most SMEs are having to shut down because they don't have access to petrol, they don't have access to electricity, diesel is expensive. So you find a situation whereby the same people who were told, "Hello for Kambale," have been crippled. We now find ourselves, unfortunately, in a situation whereby President Muhammadu Buhari, now in his Daura village in Katsina, will be laughing. He will say, okay, I think these Yoruba people, they say they know the economy. Okay, the economy is now in their hands. They have taken it down. They have mismanaged it. So this is what we are facing. It's a gross embarrassment in terms of economic management to people who come from the Southwest who say that, people from the Southwest are better at managing the economy. We have not seen that evidence. Schools have increased school fees. Suya. Do you know that a stick of suya now is 1,850 naira? We can't even eat suya again. All within a space of 1 or 2 weeks. So somebody is telling me it's island suya. Okay, even the one that is not island, even Surulere, they have increased the cost of suya, common suya, just to eat, barbecued meat.
It's luxury goods now.
Eh?
It's luxury goods now.
It's not luxury. You should be able to get protein. Even fish has become more expensive. Yeah. But in any case, the point I'm making is that Nigerians are growing. Look at Lagos, the city of Lagos that is supposed to be the business capital of Nigeria. It is ghost town. How many vehicles do you see on the road now? People are rationalizing their lifestyle. Lifestyle is affected. Families are affected. Husbands now are beginning to go to the market to make sure that, madams do not top up chop money in the family because of what has been imposed. And yet our leaders, leave it off.
You heard that. Reuben Abati there slamming the TINUBU administration. He said Lagos, that is supposed to be the economic capital of this country, has now become a ghost town because of poorly thought out economic policies. So Abati is now speaking against the government. Abati used to be a mouthpiece of the APC. Has he suddenly seen the light? When Rufai Hussaini was saying all this, they made it look like Rufai was an enemy of Nigeria. Reuben Abati and Rotus. Now, it has become so clear for everyone to see the danger that we are in as a nation. And let's not forget that when fuel was selling at 195 naira per litre, that was when Nigeria was named the poverty capital of the world under Buhari. Then we had 70% youth unemployment, with fuel selling at 195 naira per litre. Now, imagine what the percentage of youth unemployment would be with fuel selling at over 1,000 naira per litre. And what are they going to call us now? They called us poverty capital at 195 naira per litre. What are they going to call Nigeria now at over 1,000 naira per litre? And look at how Nigerians reacted to Ruben Abati's rants. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Looking says, the same Abati so much defended and supported Bulaba when the election was rigged. There was nothing Rufai did not say that Abati and Rotus did not castigate. That was what happened. Rufai was pointing out the truth. They were blocking it, castigating him. Now they are coming out to pour out their hearts of grief. And this tweet here by His Majesty says, the world is definitely about to end because even Ruben Abati has started making sense. And Akin here says, Lagos, which used to bustle with activity, has become a ghost town. And Sarah says, honestly, outside is dry. I guess they are now destroying the Lagos that they built. And this tweet here says, we warned everyone that bad governance would go round. They thought it was just a game of politics. That is the truth. The effects of bad governance are far-reaching. No one is immune. And Ernest Josh here says, when Rufai was shouting and saying it, he was seen as an enemy of the state. Now, here we are. That is the truth. And now we are in distress together. We are all oppressed together. And it only makes sense that we unite against our oppressors to pull out of this massive oppression. Point blank, period. Now, let us look at these terrible updates that hit Nigerians few hours ago. The first update is actually an unbelievable plot by government, political elites, and Dangote to ensure that Nigerians don't buy petrol cheap while they enrich themselves. The second update is a scary and disgraceful one from northern Nigeria. Let's take the first update, the shocking plot by government, political elites, and Dangote to take petrol to around 2,000 naira per litre. Please, I want you to listen carefully to this update and my explanation that will follow so that you can get an accurate picture of what is going on. Look at how the papers reported it. Fuel landing cost hits 1,120 naira per litre as marketers worry over Dangote refinery prices, reporters. Oil marketers are expressing growing concerns about the potential price of premium motor spirits (PMS) from the Dangote Petroleum Refinery as the landing cost of imported petrol has surged to approximately 1,120 naira per litre. The increase in the landing cost, which was reported at 1,117 naira per litre in July, has put pressure on dealers to consider alternative sources for their petrol supplies, with pump prices fluctuating between 600 naira and 700 naira per litre in July and rising to between 855 naira and 897 naira per litre last week. The cost of petrol has been on a steady upward trajectory. However, some independent dealers have even set their prices above 1,000 naira per litre. The delay in announcing the price of Dangote's petrol is exacerbating uncertainty among marketers. This uncertainty is prompting discussions with foreign partners to explore the feasibility of importing petrol, given the open market for competition. Abubakar Mai Gandhi, National President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, revealed that the organization is in talks with international partners to assess the costs of importing petrol. According to Punch, he noted that if Dangote's pricing proves to be higher, marketers might opt for imports to remain competitive. We are currently evaluating the costs with our foreign partners, While awaiting the Dangote petrol price, my Gandhi stated, if the import cost is lower than Dangote's price, we will consider bringing in the product. The open market allows us to source where the prices are more favorable. You heard that. Now, let me explain this properly. First of all, let me point out without mincing words that when you hear oil marketers speaking, just know it is politicians and those in government that are speaking. Now, the so-called marketers are telling us that when they import petrol from other countries to sell in Nigeria, the whole money involved in bringing the petrol from there to this country, which is otherwise known as landing cost, when divided over the volume that they purchased, it is 1,120 naira per liter, meaning the cost price for imported petrol is 1,120 naira per liter. And when the cost price is 1,120 naira, it means they will sell to filling stations at around 1,400 naira per liter. Filling stations will then sell to you and I at around 1,600 naira per liter. Then they said Dangote has not announced his own petrol price, that if Dangote can sell to them at less than 1,120 naira per liter, which is the cost price of the ones they are importing, they will no longer need to import. They will now buy from Dangote. You see their plan? First of all, how can you compare the price of Dangote petrol that is produced here in Nigeria to the ones that you import? Secondly, this is a plan by this same government and political elites masquerading as marketers to get Dangote to sell petrol at just a little below that 1,120 naira per liter, and Dangote is fully in on the plan. Maybe Dangote will now sell around 1,100 naira per liter to them. They will now say, okay, Dangote is selling cheaper than what we are importing. He's now selling at 1,100. Let us praise him that we are no longer importing petrol. They will now buy at that 1,100, sell to filling stations at around 1,300, for those ones to sell at around 1,516. Now in August, before it gets to November, it could not hit like 1,819. Before you know it, it's 2,000 naira. When the refinery is right here in this country, buying crude oil from this country in naira and refining, he's supposed to be selling to them at around 200 naira per liter, 150 naira per liter, 50 naira save, 100 naira. Everything should be able to come down to around 300 naira per liter, what people should be buying from the filling stations. But they know that if that happens, then importation of petrol in Nigeria will die. In order for importation not to die, because importation of petrol is the business of the political elites and those in government. They have refineries everywhere. They will take Nigeria crude to their refineries outside Nigeria, in Malta, in all those African countries, Sao Tome and Principe, refine the crude, bring it back as petrol and sell to Nigerians. So they want to ensure that Dangote does not sell cheap. That's why he cannot announce his price. They are working together. And Abubakar Suleiman here was so angry. He said, to hell with you people. What is the correlation between Dangote fuel and landing cost? Landing cost is when you import products. The whole Dangote fuel was refined in Nigeria. There is significant difference. Stop using grammar to increase more hardship on Nigerians. Enough. They will never stop. They have now mixed everything all together, comparing landing cost of the petrol they are importing to the one that is produced here. And you will see, even if Dangote is going to sell lower, it will be maybe by 20 naira. Their plan is to bring more hardship upon the people. And this tweet here says, I won't be surprised if Dangote sells at a higher rate. And if he sells less, fine. Use the cement industry as a yardstick. Nigerians shouldn't expect much from Dangote. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Dangote is a businessman. That is it. He's a businessman. So when the politicians present an opportunity to him to make more profit, even at the expense of the people, because they, the politicians, also want to keep profiting off the people, he's going to jump at it. And this tweet here by me says, where are the delusional morons waiting for Dangote to crash the price of petrol? Look into the mirror and you will see foolish idiots. That is you. That is it. That is it. We knew from the very beginning there is no crashing of the price of petrol until you get these guys out of power. And Pepperoni here says expects to buy fuel at 1,500 naira, and that is just for now. Before we get to December, it will hit this 2,000 naira that I'm telling you. This is where these guys are taking us to. And just as Nigerians were weeping, crying foul after seeing this update, this scary and disgraceful update came in from northern Nigeria. Look at how the papers reported it. Bandit kingpin Bello Turji reduces levy imposed on Zamfara community from 50 million naira to 30 million naira. The people of Moriki town in Zurmi local government area of Zamfara state have managed to convince a bandit leader, Bello Turji, to reduce the ransom he imposed on them from 50 million naira to 30 million naira with a Wednesday deadline for payment. Daily Post gathered that the sum is supposedly compensation for the killing of Turji's cows by the new commander of the army base stationed inside Moriki. Each family head is required to contribute 10,000 naira, while unmarried adults are mandated to pay 2,000 naira. It was further gathered that the villagers are proceeding with the payment despite the commander's advice that they should not pay the money and his promise never to harm Turji's animals again. The villagers, as gathered by Daily Post, fear that if they fail to meet the demand, Turji will unleash more terror attacks on them, with no one to protect them from his brutality. Daily Post gathered that about 15 local politicians and social activists are still in Turji's hostage. They were abducted from within Moriki despite the presence of soldiers stationed in the village. You heard that. The new commander of the army base in their community told them not to heed to what the bandit leader said. He told them not to pay, but they have chosen to obey the bandit leader. And he even gave them an ultimatum. He said Wednesday is the deadline and they are going to pay him. So you that knows the deadline and everything, have you been able to capture the bandits? And you are telling them not to pay. The people say they fear that if they don't pay, he will unleash more attacks on them. And there is no one to protect them. Underline that. There is no one to protect them. Let us not forget that the primary responsibility of government is to secure lives and properties. And now the people are saying that there will be no one to protect them. Is there any bigger failure of government than this? And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. Mr. Optimistic here says, one terrorist is holding a whole state ransom and even collecting levy. But almighty military is busy destroying lives and properties in the East and Niger Delta. Kudos to Nigerian military. What a rush. What a shame. What a shame. You left the war front to go and be chasing shadows in the East and in the Niger Delta. And Temidayo here says, can you imagine the audacity? In a country we claim to have leaders and security agencies, the audacity stinks to the high heavens. And Engineer Habib here says, even bandits are more considerate in their levy than president of the country. They are reducing levy while presidency is increasing theirs. Chai. And Jeremiah here says, what a country. Nigeria is gradually becoming Afghanistan. Well, it is what it is. Actions have consequences. Just a few days ago, I brought you an update where soldiers were complaining that they are being owed salaries and allowances. And I'm not talking of soldiers in Abuja or in Lagos. I'm talking of soldiers at the war front. The people that are facing these guys head on, they are being owed salaries and allowances. That tells you everything. They are still the same people complaining that their weapons are not good enough. Their weapons are outdated. That the opponents, the insurgency, they have better weapons than them. That says it all. And now these guys have eaten deep to the point that this guy can impose levy and even place a deadline. And the other day, the chief of army staff came to tell us that we should expect that very soon they will announce that they have won the war. Everything is propaganda on paper. And I keep saying it, propaganda will not do this job. But these guys, as long as they will remain there and they will continue to enrich themselves, they will keep doing whatever it takes, just to remain there. It is the people that are suffering that will say, no, we cannot continue to suffer like this in a country where we have everything that we need to live well. This insurgency they are talking about with a committed leadership. I am telling you, in a matter of 6 months, this thing will become a thing of the past. But look at how it has been hovering around for so many years, and it looks as if we can't nip it in the bud. If we can come together as a people and do the right thing to take our country back, I am telling you, all these problems will become things of the past. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away.